You are Locked On Coogs, your daily podcast on the Houston Cougars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Park Rangers Locked On Coogs here. Looking at matchups between those Houston Cougars, and the 4-seed Purdue Boilermakers as they play the Sweet 16 matchup and a chalky feeling matchup out in Indianapolis. Indianapolis is just over an hour from Purdue's campus, but that's the way the cookie crumbled in this one. And I want to start by talking about the point guard matchup here because I think it's the one like pro scouts will probably be watching the most. So Milos Uzan, 6'4", listed, long, strong, great point guard. Seen the highs of Milos Uzan against like Arizona in the conference championship game. We've seen the lows of Milos Uzan, like when he fouled a couple times earlier this season. He had a not great scoring night in the round of 32. We've seen a lot of growth at him over the course of the year, though, I would say, right? Milos has the best player on the other team as his matchup, I imagine, in Braden Smith. Braden's 6 foot, Milos 6'4", but Braden, like, crazy assist machine, sees the floor super well, and everything that Purdue's going to be doing is going to be going through getting him involved in actions or getting him involved in some sort of a two-way kind of thing or anything like that. Now, Braden has struggled, it looks like to me, in looking at box scores and thinking about matchups and then texting back and forth some with the guy who watches all 32 of theirs, or like it's been 32 of theirs this year, whatever it is. Braden has struggled with size and length. He's, again, only a 6 foot tall guard. And I think that what you're going to see is Milos be aggressive in this matchup. I imagine you'll see, block shots or attempted block shots. I imagine you'll see a lot of aggression on steals. And then the moment that Braden Smith picks that ball up, I think you're going to see Milos Uzan up chest to chest, all up inside his jersey kind of stuff on him, right? And I think the only thing that could make that go wrong would be if, like, Milos got in foul trouble, knock on wood, foul trouble, something like that early, right? And I understand that, like, I'm not saying that Braden Smith won't have a statistically good game. I don't mean that. I mean, he's good. He will get his at some point. But I think as far as, like, making him not the limiting what he does, Milos can do pretty well at that given the size and discrepancy there. Plus, I think about how much better Milos Uzan is as a defender now as opposed to he was when he played earlier this season. I always saw him do it to Caleb Love. We saw him do in BYU. What we saw him do across the board. Now, as we look at other matchups, the interesting matchup to me in the backcourt is LJ Cryer versus Fletcher Loyer. LJ, they frankly both take very similar shots on a shot chart. I guess LJ might have a more diverse shot chart a little bit. But Loyer, I think, is the easiest cover on paper because he's constantly looking for the three ball. You just got to track him outside the 3-point line and all of that, right? Cryer is giving up some size here. We got Cryer at about 6'2", Loyer about 6'5", and so you got to be pretty tight to him to make sure that you don't give up that difference. But I do think it helps for Houston that frankly Cryer is kind of covering himself. He also covers Emmanuel David, often at practice, and he's tracked shooters around the 3-point line before. He understands that movement as well as anyone on the team. And also, for what it's worth, I think that on the other end, you'll see the same kind of thing, but Cryer's better at putting the ball on the ground. And so that matchup is an interesting one. I do think Cryer is liable to win it significantly, but I could also see a world where it's a very close one because they both get hot from three or something like that. So it's one to keep an eye on. The one I think Houston definitively wins is the third starting backcourt guy. It's Emmanuel Sharp, most outstanding player of the Big 12 Conference Tournament against CJ Cox. They're both listed at 6'3" and about 200 pounds. When I watched Purdue play, I think Emmanuel's a lot stronger physically than CJ Cox. That may just be how they carry the weight. There may be a little bit of fibbing on the weight sheet. I don't know. Both shooters. I think the big difference here is that Sharp uses his body a lot better on both ends of the floor, both in terms of like being smart about using angles and things like that, and then also in terms of just being really, really physical, really, really aggressive. I think that he's going to win that matchup definitively, unless they do some mixing up with their matchup throughout the game. CJ Cox is also a younger guy. Sharp's kind of a veteran. I guess a senior, but he is a veteran. And so you're seeing a lot of moments for Houston to kind of rely on that kind of stuff. I think the matchup that like your national audience is going to be intrigued by is going to be Juwan Roberts and Trey Kaufman-Renn at the power forward spot. Again, and this will be the starting power forward matchup. I don't know it'll be the power forward matchup the whole game. Like I said, I think in their opening segment, I think that Purdue will at some point have to go small. And ultimately, if they have to go small, then you might see J1 cover someone different. Just because Houston does play with two bigs on the floor sometimes and stuff like that. Listen, this is from a skill to skill perspective, probably the best one-on-one matchup in the Sweet 16 as far as like good versus good, size versus size, as far as all that goes, right? Trey Kaufman-Renn has a lot of moves. He's really, really good down around the post, down inside of 10 feet. I think J1 Roberts is going to take one or two of those away and kind of make him do one or two other things, right? But I think the other thing that you're going to see here is a lot of Houston using their monster double team inside of 10 feet. What that means is doubling a post player, and when they blitz it, that's when they jump the guy outside on the pick and roll outside 3-point line. So then they blitz a guard, monster posts. And I think that you're going to see the monster and the post player come from backside big help in terms of JoJo Tugler, we're going to get to in a second. But also you're going to see it come from JoJo Tugler because you're going to have the backside guards are able to drop down a little bit and help out with the post because the big man in their starting lineup for Purdue is not a huge offensive threat. And so you can have some backside help between jumpers like Terrence or Malik. So maybe some strength like Manuel or whatever to come down backside and really help fight off the post and the monster to give you recovery time. They spit it out, right? This is going to come down to, as far as who wins the Roberts and Kaufman-Renn matchup, it's going to come down to how well TKR is as a playmaker. He was really, really good passing the ball against McNeese. I don't mean to say he wasn't, especially early in that game. But I do think that the doubling monster ball pressure is different than at least things I have seen. And then texting my buddy here, one thing he had seen TKR, quote, do well with. So I think that that's the kind of thing that Houston's going to be okay with. If they stick to that monster, the deal will be if they start spitting out hitting threes and you got to get out of it, what can J1 do in one-on-one situations? I think he'll win some matches, lose some matches. That's the beauty of playing a really talented basketball players. You can't win everyone, but just trying to win more of them, right? Another one I think Houston does win definitively, though, is the other big, and that may help some in this. JoJo Tugler versus Caleb First. JoJo Tugler is up for Naismith Defense Player of the Year. He's big, he's long, he's athletic. He plays at the level and screens. He gets up and blitzes when he has to. He dives on the floor for the first loose ball. He touches all the loose ball, rebound kind of stuff. I think he's going to run Caleb First ragged. He's going to run him around the floor, right? I think, though, that you're going to see matchups from Purdue that find ways to get smaller lineups on the floor, maybe take First out some. So then it becomes, can JoJo cover TKR without fouling him, right? Because JoJo has been known to be over-aggressive, and that can lead to fouls. And Trey Kaufman-Renn has got some real craftiness to his game as far as getting guys on his backside, getting guys pinned, sealing things, right? And JoJo's had a tendency to foul in the situations, right? And so if they go small and JoJo has to guard TKR, you might see some struggles, right? You might see some fouls. So we'll see on that one. Juwan, I feel fairly confident in his savvy as far as playing with that goes. JoJo is just so aggressive. You don't want to coach that out of him because it makes him great. You just kind of live with it. It's like quarterback gunslinger kind of mentality, right? Now on the bench side of things, I do feel pretty confident that Houston gets more production out of their bench in terms of the big three, the first three that take off. Malik Wilson could have a big game in this one. He'll be the fastest player on the floor for either team, but it'll be leaps and bounds faster than anything that Purdue's rolling out. I think you'll also see a pretty productive day at Javier Francis. He's got really great feet, and I think if he gets up matched up with First, the big man, starting big man for Indiana, for Purdue, then I think what you'll see out of that is a lot of spin moves and post play and, feeding on rolls into a more of a post move, catch it at 10 feet and make a post move kind of stuff. So I think that Houston's got an advantage in the bench. I didn't even mention Terrence Arsenault. If they go small, Malik and Terrence could each have big days respectively, because when you'll see Purdue go small, I imagine you see Houston take stretches of playing small as well. So I think that that's going to be how the matchups go. Again, some of those I favor Houston, some of those I think are toss-ups. And so this prediction part might not be the biggest of surprises, full disclosure. But I do think that I want to talk through how I see this game playing out. But first, I mentioned it's a late night game. Daylight savings has snuck up on you, certainly snuck up on me. And if you're feeling that same loss of sleep or just trying to stay up for a late night Houston Cougar game, 5-Hour Energy has your back. Extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you just need a little bit of a boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late, watching the NCAA tournament, squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just trying to keep with your busy day, 5-Hour Energy gives you that quick and refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. I love the convenience, the size. It fits in the palm of your hand, right? Really, really easy to take with you wherever you're going. Head to 5hourenergy.com. Find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. If you need one now, grab a 5-Hour Energy shot at your local grocery store or convenience store. They're everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized.